Oh! Oh, there's 10 hours of this, by the way. Oh. For those of you who don't know, that is the infamous town soundtrack from Idolmaster. Why is there no one here today? I guess is a question. Although I guess that's okay because that means I don't have to engage with chat. You gotta draw a pair of boobs and make it as a thumbnail. Is anyone actually trying to make it as a Twitch streamer at this point? Like a new Twitch streamer to establish themselves? I feel like it's just the absolute definition of like a dying industry and a red ocean situation in which there's like zero chance of you making it. If you basically haven't established yourself with like 5,000 viewers at this point, you're never going to be able to quit your job being a Twitch streamer in 2025, so... I don't think there's any amount of boobs in the thumbnail that is going to allow you to make it as a Twitch streamer. I just don't think that's going to happen. If your birth year starts with 2, you gotta go for the TikTok. That's true. I hear a lot of people, I don't know, selling their stupid shit on TikTok and stuff. Pull out your fat, girthy cock and start stroking for views. Unfortunately, my cock is neither fat nor girthy. If anything, it's rather disappointing. Although that might just be because my brain has been absolutely annihilated by looking at 10,000 images of porn every single day, every day of my life. My standards for penis size at this point are, if it's not larger than the woman's arm, then she won't ever be satisfied with me and I'm a failure as a man. Just ViewBot, easy, Twitch don't care. Didn't they delete all the ViewBots recently? Who am I kidding? I'm sure there's like still 10 million gorillion ViewBots on every channel still, but yeah. Pretty much both like every popular Twitch streamer and every popular, especially for like AI videos, all the people who are like, oh my god, AI slop is eating the internet. That was like a huge YouTuber's video subject like 3 weeks ago about how there's all these AI videos that are worthless and yet they have millions of views. And I was just like, bro, all of those millions of views, they're all from fucking bots. Like, we know that they're being botted to hell. Like, there's no way they're not bots. You can't really trust anything on the internet at this point, because all the platforms that are supposed to like protect their, I don't know, their sanctity of their information in terms of like views or popularity and stuff do absolutely no such thing and just let it get absolutely overrun, infested with bots and shit. If you think about it, as long as the advertisers don't start complaining about how like they're being forced to pay higher fees for non-existent viewers, the platforms have no real motivation to reduce the amount of bots on their platform, right? They're gonna be like, oh, Mr. Advertiser-san, over 3,000 trillion unique users viewed our, you know, baby getting saved by pug on abandoned island content last month. These are all definitely real people. You should pay us more money. Also, I know YouTube changed how they count views and stuff as well. my partner in crime, Solus, was like complaining about how he lost a shit ton of views and he was wondering why they were down, and it just turned out because YouTube started like not properly counting views that come from people with a ad blocker turned on, which is of course like everybody. So like who the fuck is watching YouTube without an ad blocker in 2025? So I know who is my mother. She keeps on asking me like, so you're saying that you don't get ads on YouTube? And I'm like, yes, I get no ads because I have an ad blocker installed. And she's like, yes, but I also have an ad blocker installed and I'm paying the ad blocker money. And I'm like, well, maybe you should stop paying your whatever shitty, stupid fucking ad blocker money and install literally the most popular extension on the fucking planet, which shows up at the top of the list at your, you know, internet browser if you look up ad blocking extensions, because that's just the thing I'm using. And we've had this conversation like 5 times in the last 6 months and she still gets ads because I guess she's a fucking boomer and boomers are completely incapable of doing anything. Even if it involves just like clicking a few buttons a few times. Boomer buying an ad blocker that doesn't work LMAO is like peak boomer moments, if you ask me. I wouldn't blame her, to be honest. As long as she doesn't start asking me to teach her how to like click a fucking mouse, then that's fine with me. Also, she's using Mac infrastructure, so honestly there is a possibility that the entire reason that she has problems is just because, you know, she's dealing with all this stupid Apple bullshit. I don't fucking know how Apple works at this point. I haven't owned a Mac in, you know, 20 years, so there is a possibility that, because she was watching YouTube on her iPad the last time I saw, there is a possibility that there's no way to block ads on iPad. That seems like something that Apple would do. You'll have no idea what 2067 tech will be like either. If 2067 tech has anything to do with Elon installing a brain chip in my spine, then, yeah, I will be just like my mother not using it. The funny thing is that my mother has a much more powerful ability than our ability to use ad blockers. She has the ability to watch all these ads and not only like forget all the content that's in the ad, but also not understand what's being advertised in the first place. So she can't be marketed to. There will literally be an ad going on the fucking TV and she'll ask me like what the ad is for, and I'll be like, God damn it, Mom, isn't it pretty fucking obvious? And she'll be like, no, I don't understand. And I'm just like, holy shit, she's actually immune to modern society. Her media literacy is so low that she can't fucking understand what's being put in her face. Whereas I am cursed with high levels of media literacy, which means that not only do I immediately know that the ad is a stupid fucking Geico ad just because they're doing some stupid fucking skit that I can just sort of recognize by their stupid fucking cinematography. I also remember like 99% of the Geico ads I've seen. What a fucking cursed existence. Isn't she like 80? This isn't really about media literacy, LOL. She's been like this my entire life. You don't understand. She'll watch a movie and like 2 days afterwards, I'll ask her what movie she saw and she'll be like, I don't remember. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. It really just goes through one side of her brain and comes out the other. She just doesn't give a fuck. The funny thing is that no matter how many times I point out that she doesn't give a fuck, then she'll get upset and be like, I actually care. I care a lot about media and fiction and things I see on TV. It's like, no, you don't, Mom, and that's perfectly fine. Just stop lying to yourself about it. It's really bizarre. I don't understand why she thinks that she should care. You can't block ads on iPad. There you have it. It's her own fault for using Apple infrastructure. She gets what she deserves. I've had a conversation with my mother in which I'm just like, Mom, you don't care about sports. And she's like, I do care about sports. And I'm like, no, you don't. This is watching local baseball team on local news. And I'm like, okay, name 3 players on local baseball team that you say you care about. And she failed to name one, of course. Once again, proving my mother wrong with facts and logic. Of course, this helps no one. Cough cough Brave browser app. She is probably using YouTube app and not the website. I mean, can you even use a separate browser on iPad? I've literally never used an iPad in my entire fucking life, so I don't even understand how these things work. I have no idea how much of a walled garden, like money-sucking box all Apple products are. You can't use AdBlock extension on browsers on iOS devices. They make it nigh impossible without jailbreaking. Well, there you go. The joy of using Apple products. That's just how it is. Good thing the AdBlock is built into the Brave app. You understand we're talking about the iPad, right? I don't even know if the iPad even has a Brave browser on it. I feel like everybody who's talks about like PC and shit or like using Linux and stuff in this chat like is completely unwilling to like consider that people are using different platforms and that whatever stupid fucking computer environment that they're talking about doesn't necessarily apply to other platforms. This is like every conversation you have with someone who is like, oh, just works for me. When it comes to like video games and stuff especially, pretty much like every Steam page is just full of people being like, for some reason my game stutters, and then there's like literally like 20 replies to that person being like, I don't know, maybe you should update your GPU, bro. Works for me. Just fine. It's like, Christ. If it works for you, then we're not talking to you. You're not the target audience for this question. It has the app to the App Store. I'm pretty sure even that is too much technological progress for my mother to... Also, I'm not sure Brave actually does have automatic ad blocking. I mean, I know it has, it says it has, but I think when I installed Brave, I installed uBlock Infinity for the YouTube. I don't know if I tried... We can try turning off uBlock on my Brave browser right now and see if I get ads in YouTube. Let's see, let's go to extensions. Manage extensions. Just turn off uBlock Origin, which I have on. And then go to YouTube. Hold on. Let's turn off this music so we don't get weird double combo going on. Age of Empires 2 soundtrack ambient music. Yeah, well, it seems to be working well. Yeah, no ads that I can see so far. However, everybody who claims that Brave fully blocks Twitch ads, I haven't been able to see that. I always get Twitch ads, even with Brave. It seems like I get fewer ads with Brave, but I still can't block them entirely. Seems to be my conclusion. The only way so far that I've been able to block Twitch ads completely is in the App Store or the Extension Store. I found a different in-browser Twitch player recently that blocks ads. I forgot what it's called, but it's like alternate player for Twitch, and it's like actually like a player within your browser or something. And that seems to block ads. However, while it's blocking ads, the resolution for the video player goes down to like 480 or 360 or something. So I think they're using the technology that Twitch allows you to see the player like above the chat window to continue to watch the stream. But as long as I don't get the ads, that's good enough for me. I don't understand why YouTube, being headed by Google, the most powerful technology company in the fucking planet, has so much difficulty just blocking ads. You'd think they'd be able to figure that out. That they'd be able to figure out how to not have ads on their own fucking platform. But I guess this is too much. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to make a poignant satire of the Dragon Ball hentai community, and you're stepping on it. I don't even look at Dragon Ball stuff, but I see Krillin getting cucked all the time. Do people just hate him? If you have a hot wife, then just people drawing NTR content just comes with the territory. That's just how it works. There's no way to have a wife without having a million images of her getting cucked. That's just how our brains are designed to work in the year 2025. Note to self, don't get a hot wife. Yes. This is where many people fail. They end up with hot wives. Luckily, no one in chat will have that problem, thank God. I have a hot digital wife. Does that count? No, wrong. When I was on A all the time, we would have weekly waifu draw threads, and I would volunteer to draw people's wives getting cucked by BBC, and it would make people very, very upset. So the answer is yes, you can still get cucked even if your wife is digital. If you are too much of a spurg, being like, no! I saw an image of a woman with a vaguely different skin-colored penis. She has been cucked away from me. I can never recover from it. No! You can still be like that if you want to. Well, that's more of a personal mental choice than anything else. Those people choose to believe that way. They have an imaginary wife, and yet they still have to scream. Am I not my masculine idol, Ryan Gosling? I think the point of Ryan Gosling having a digital wife was that he didn't know that she was digital wife, right? I haven't actually seen any of the Blade Runner movies, but I think the whole point of that was that he thought she was real? I don't really get it. So he was devastated when it turns out that she wasn't his perfect digital wife that loves only him or whatever. Someone explain Ryan Gosling collapsing in the snow because his waifu wasn't real or whatever. it. You gotta watch Blade Runner, man. I don't want to. I started watching the first one, and then I wasn't really that interested. I could have finished it, but I hadn't. I'm currently watching a more significant and important work of sci-fi artwork masterpiece, and that's Time Cop, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme's just absolute masterwork of acting. And the most relevant, high-quality special effects you'll ever see. Collapsed because he got hypothermia, duh. Why was Ryan Gosling mad? Generating AI response. Ryan Gosling has been mad at different times, including when he got angry at a photographer for calling Eva Mendes baby, and when he was upset about the Barbie movie's Oscar nominations not including his co-star. He was also reportedly frustrated with Rachel McAdams during filming of The Notebook and has been a target of aggression from some fans. As usual, AI is completely fucking worthless because they don't understand that when I say Ryan Gosling, I mean Agent K in the fucking Blade Runner movie. What an absolute useless technology. Also, that search using AI cost me, or local electricity payers, like $10,000 or something. Let's ask Grok, see if it's any better. Why is Ryan Gosling mad? Alright, let's try. Why was Ryan Gosling Blade Runner mad? Officer K isn't mad in the sense of being angry all the time, but he does carry a quiet, simmering rage, grief, and existential fury that erupts in key moments. Here's why K becomes progressively mad, enraged, and unhinged as the story unfolds. He's a replicant living a lie. K believes he might be the miracle child born to a replicant. This hope gives him a brutal, lonely life meaning, a reason to endure discrimination, isolation, and violence. Blah, blah, blah. His holographic girlfriend, Joy, is his only emotional anchor. He's just like me, for real, for real. When love crushes Joy's emitter and calls her a cheap toy, it confirms she was programmed to love him, not real. This devastates K, turning his quiet sorrow into cold fury. That's a little different, I feel like. Understanding that your waifu is not real. As in, she's not a real female. It does posit a good question to all the anime Coomers out there, which is, you know that your waifu loves you unconditionally because she's an anime character that you imagine in your mind that she loves you, but she's also not real. But would you be okay in a world in which your anime waifu does become real, but by becoming real, she also no longer loves you because that means she has autonomy and she can make her own decisions? It's a hard question that we all have to ask ourselves at some point. It sort of goes to the core concept of God. If God is omniscient and all-powerful, why did he give humans the choice to have free will? And the answer is that there is the payoff of having people choose to worship him despite having free will, that instead of being forced to worship him. So in this analogy, we are essentially God, and we are creating a character that has free will and hoping they'll love us instead of not love us, which seems much more likely. Don't be silly, my waifu would love me if she was real. I mean, it depends on who your waifu is. People who are like, S-Death is my waifu. She loves me so much she would never murder me, like, even though she's murdered 30 million people in the original series, are living in delusion, obviously. But if your wife is generally a very loving person to begin with in the original content, then maybe you can bet correctly that she would love you. Like, if you say your wife is like Belle Dandy, and then you're assuming that you can force her to love you using like whatever special wish you can use in the main character used, then that's fine as well. You're kind of admitting defeat, I guess, but... People who want Makima IRL, are you saying that my control demon who wants to kill everybody or whatever won't love me? How can this be possible? No. My wife would never betray my trust like that. Real men prefer Erd. I can't remember. What's the brown one's name? Is the brown one Urudal? There's the third one, which is like kind of a semi-lowly. I can't be bothered to follow something like Oh My Goddess, which went on for like 50 volumes over the course of 20 years. Maybe I should have properly used perspective grid for this shit, but I can't be bothered. This is good enough. People are going to be too distracted by Android 18's boobs to care, I hope. My wife, Widowmaker, would never murder me, unlike her cuck ex-husband. The funny thing is people actually do that shit in real life. There's like real-life female serial killers who keep on getting like new husbands despite the fact that the husbands have like historical record that her previous like 3 husbands have all died. They're like, oh wow, that's a coincidence. Surely she will not be murdering me, ha ha ha. It's like, Are you sure about that, bro? So yeah, I'm creating the horizon line right here. Just like this. Which means I have to draw Android 18 with her boobs above the camera, I guess. Kind of like this. I guess the question is, if your waifu is an Overwatch character, which one is the least likely to murder you? I don't know enough about Overwatch to say anything, but... Or at least have sex with you in general. Tracer is supposedly a lesbian, although that's kind of questionable as well, because we know about Blizzard's history of being like, Soldier 76 is now gay or whatever. And it's like, okay, you just made that shit up 5 seconds ago because you wanted your brownie points. So I'm not even sure if Tracer was supposed to be gay, but Tracer was like their first, like, we're gonna get brownie points for gay character thing, so. Mercy. If you ask Mercy very nicely, would she give you a dommy mommy hand job while you suck on her nipples? Isn't she like 100 years old? I feel like she'd be very willing to give me a hand job if you do enough dogeza. Just be like... Just be like, mommy, please. I need milkies. Here's a scene of me doing the dogeza to Mercy. Disinterest nurse style. It sucks when the disinterest nurse fetish is broken too quickly, if you know what I mean. I'm okay with disinterest nurse having disinterest sexo and then slowly started to become more and more like aroused by the sex, even if she's looking disinterest, but it has to happen slowly. She can't like immediately achieve orgasm within like 3 panels. That's too fast. I hate when my partner is into me. Look, this is part of the disinterest nurse fetish, okay? You just don't understand. You want the woman to be like checking her phone or something while she steps on your cock. This is like the opposite flavor of the yandere version, in which she's too interested into you and freaks you out. Just don't like the Android 18 pose right here. I'm not sure what I want to do with her. Looks like I still can't really figure out sexy poses. There's one thing about like sexy poses, and there's like one thing about natural poses and like body weight shifting and stuff like that, and I haven't really figured out how I want to do both. Hi from Japan, I found your nerd girl I love here. Is this the first actual Japanese person we have? Because I've been trying to find someone to speak Japanese to forever in this stream because I can speak Japanese, but whenever I say this, we just have all these people who can't actually speak Gaijin Westerners typing in chat, Watashi Nihongo wakarimasu desu. Gomen nasai harakiri geisha. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You can't speak Japanese. But it would be nice if we could actually get a few Japanese people in stream. Then I could make Japanese comments. Gotta go to bed early. Most of the people in this stream are Europeans. Nihongo 話せるんだけどね。全然使う機会がないんだよね。なんてお呼びしたらいいですか？バールさんかな？いや、別に何でもいいですけど。日本語ってさ、主語とか使わなくてもいいから、なかなか人の名前呼ばなかったりするところがあるから。Yes, BB, whisper even less audibly so. Look, bro, you guys are complaining that I'm too loud or too quiet, or the audio is too quiet. Ugh. I don't know what to do about that shit. While I agree that audio levels in stream are just absolute. The number one reason why you turn off the stream is because you don't like the audio level, right? I understand that. 18号難しい。なんか雰囲気が難しい。 I feel like I really want to make Android 18's boobs big, but I don't think it will look like her if I make them above a certain size. I don't think she's a really, like, a big boob type character at all, actually. I know a lot of hentai artists will disagree, but... Who dares wins? No, that's not how it works. Also, I'm supposed to make her skull shape to be, like, completely unrealistic. If you look at the original artwork, first thing, she has, like, 1/3 of her face, and then, like, 2/3 is the skull, and the skull ends here. And then the hair continues going upward in a way that would be impossible if she didn't have, like, a massive skull that went all the way up to here. So the ability for Toriyama to draw like this and not have people be like, what the fuck is going wrong with her fucking face or her fucking head shape is what is like his true skill. Like just the Toriyama style. You wouldn't be able to get away with that shit if you were a lesser artist. See, this is why I listen to a lot of AI music, because, like, actual real music, I guess this is Ridge Racer music, it's too invasive. It actually makes me feel something. I think AI music is actually really good if you want, like, to have background music that makes you feel nothing. Japanese love those Megamind proportions. Anime drawing tutorial is this, right? Eyeballs. Make the two U shapes. Here, actually, all right. Let's make it as simple as possible. Line U, line U. V shape. Straight line, two vertical lines, round line, and now everything else is just hair. Where does the skull happen? Nobody knows. The skull is hidden between the thick layers of anime hair. We can even go farther with the face. We can take all the face and just go, like, all the way down. There we go. Just go all the way. And even this, you can get away with this. これでもなんとかなっちゃうのがアニメのすごいところ。まあちょっと亀仙人から書くか。Am I the only one who gets nostalgic for the 80s when I listen to this kind of fake 80s synthwave music? Am I just too old? I didn't actually grow up in the 80s, but by the time I was a young child, we were in the mid-90s, which means that a lot of the content I was watching was 80s content. How do you feel about people on Twitter not knowing you're also Japanese? It would be too much work explaining to them that I'm not gaijin. ツイッターの漫画が受けたから言わなかったけど、ハーフなんだよね。日本語も話せるし、日本の学校も行ってるし。でもそれじゃあつまらないからさ。そういうのは言ったら無粋でしょ。だから突っ込まない。Makes me feel like a real 80s kid. I thought 80s fashion fucking sucked in the 90s, but in retrospect, it was okay. The only thing I didn't like was the shoulder pads, and even then the shoulder pads kind of slap. Some women can pull off the shoulder pads better. I don't know. I think everything just seems nice now. The past seems extremely radiant and beautiful now that everything in the present kind of sucks ass. No wonder we have all these Zoomers and Gen Alpha kids idolizing the 90s and 2000s. '80s look is this, right? Get the Giga shoulder pads. Get the curls. And then you have like a Corvette or something. You're like, get in the car, Tom Cruise, or something. Shit was cool back then, bros. Madame President from Golden Boy. Yeah, that was like peak Japanese bubble culture. A lot of Japanese bubble culture, which was like 90s, I guess, when it peaked, took a lot of the culture of excess that American culture had in the 80s, and they sort of transferred it to Japan. They were both times in which the countries were really kind of feeling themselves. Like during the 80s, America sort of had gotten out of the 70s funk in which they had like shit like the Vietnam War and stuff like that was kind of downer stuff. So they were sort of back in the I'm feeling myself mode. And I feel like a lot of the fashion reflected that with shoulder pads. The Japan Nikkei index went back to its peak 80s bubble value. What are you talking about right now? I haven't been checking the Nikkei. Is it that high? Has that been recent? Is that like American investors being super confident that we're in an AI bubble right now, so they're trying to get the fuck out of the American markets and stuff? Because that would kind of make sense. Max. Oh shit, you're right. It's at 50,000. So it peaked in what? 1989 at 36,000. Then it fucking hit this and it's all the way back up to 50,000 now? Fuck. Although I don't know if that actually means anything. Man, it has... This is not what you want to see. This fucking trough right here. That's actually kind of scary. When this shit fucking crashes, I don't know what's going to be caught in it. But I hope that cashes and doesn't become worthless as well. Whatever situation we are with various stock markets... I don't know, man. I don't want to be any part of this stuff, but I have no choice because our entire economy is bet around stupid fucking billionaire corporations betting all their money, so there's no way to escape it. We are so back. We're going back to get 80s, 90s era animation quality. I know this isn't what we're talking about, but 80s, 90s animation wasn't actually very high quality. We only think that because we keep on watching the original video animes, which had much higher budgets. I actually listened to a podcast of technology related. It was called Plain English, but the host had done previous episodes talking about the AI bubble, and he was like, I should introduce someone that is going to argue that the AI, we don't have an AI bubble. And of course the guy he found was like a technology reporter who is of course Indian. I don't understand why Indians love AI so much, but of course the pro AI, we're not in a bubble guy was Indian. And then the host kept on providing possible reasons why we might be in a bubble, sort of hoping that the Indian, I mean the whole point was this guy was supposed to pose the counter argument for why we're not in a bubble, and he couldn't do it. Like the host would say like, yeah, we have like 5 times the amount of money in the stock market right now than we had during the railroad bubble, and then the Indian guy would just be like, yeah, you're right, but yeah, you're right, and that was it. Like he couldn't actually even say like a poor argument for why we were not in a bubble. So yeah, if the guy that's being called onto a podcast specifically to argue that we're not in a bubble can't even give like a single fucking argument why we're not in a bubble, I think we might be in a bubble. If the people who are actually putting money into the bubble are saying we might be in a bubble, I think we're in a bubble. I'm not looking forward to what the fuck's gonna happen when it crashes, but there's no way this is sustainable. I just want a non-3D CG Ghost in the Shell, bro. I can stomach a bubble popping for that. Why the fuck would the bubble popping give you extremely high quality anime movies? I don't think that's how it works. AI is such a pain in the ass when it comes to implementing it in workflows for media. I fucking wish the bubble would burst. I know that a lot of you people are too young to understand what I'm talking about, but even during the .com bubble, no one was being like, I fucking hate the internet, it sucks. No one was like, oh man, I hate email, I sure would rather just write mail by hand and send it across town by putting a fucking stamp on it. Literally nobody was saying that. Everybody could see the point of the internet and that the internet was the future and that it was cool. It isn't like right now with AI where besides like a very limited amount of stupid tech bros who are like, no, we'll have AGI and Android sex bots in a few days. Basically everyone was like, is like, I fucking hate using this thing, it's worthless. In fact, I can't think of a technology in my lifetime that's been so widespread and pushed so hard by the companies and being forced to stuck in your face, and then so many people being like, but I don't want to use it, it's not actually helpful. Because like up until this point, usually like you would have to buy the technology, right? So if it was unhelpful, like if people were like, the fucking Sony Walkman sucks, it doesn't do what I want it to do, it doesn't actually play music, it crashes all the time. When I try and get my Sony Walkman to play my cool 80s music, instead of playing my tape of Duran Duran, it just starts randomly shitting out noise. People wouldn't buy the thing. But in the case of AI, because we already have the technology that's connected to the internet, the fucking tech companies can just like update it and stick it in our faces, but nobody actually wants to use it. And the thing is, it's not supposed to be a consumer product. It's supposed to be like a worker product, right? It's supposed to make everybody's workflow more productive so that they'll be able to fire 90% of their workers. That's supposed to be how we change the entire planet. Except it doesn't make workflow more productive. We try to find a reason to use the thing instead of solving a problem with it. You don't understand. We've spent so much money on it. It must be worth something, right? There's no way it's fucking worthless. I was watching a podcast on YouTube last night of a Japanese doujin author who I like listening to because I think he knows what's going on with like the doujin markets. So I have some sort of interest in him. But he was saying yesterday that like he's someone who believes that there isn't something inherent to human production and that like it's not like human creativity is safe from technological innovation and you can get replaced at any time. And while I sort of agree with that, like I don't disagree with that, if the replacing is going to happen, it's not going to happen by this version of AI. Like I think a lot of the Japanese people don't understand like the concept of LLMs and diffusion models. Like we've never had a technology before where like if you do 1,000 inputs into the technology, like 5 of those inputs are going to be horribly wrong and like 30 of those inputs are going to be like somewhat wrong and like 50 of those inputs are going to be kind of correct but might be like going in the opposite direction or something. Like all our technology up until this point was like the point of a calculator is that if you put in 2 plus 2 in it, it's going to give you 4 a million times out of a million, right? So I don't really know what the use for these diffusion and LLMs are, besides like maybe big data research or some shit. But I don't think we can use it in the way that we've been using previous technologies, and there has to be like a completely different framework on how to think about like how these things can be used. But I don't think the corporations are smart enough to figure that out on their own, which is where we are right now. We have to spend even more money on lawyers to run forensics on how much AI was used through the entirety of a project. It's fucking insane. We haven't even gotten to the lawsuit phase of this yet. If you think that AI is expensive and time consuming right now, imagine how expensive and time consuming it's going to be when fucking Disney's lawyers start to get into the picture. Disney is going to be like, legislature, write a law right now that outlaws all forms of AI use except for the AI use that allows us to fire all our animators so we can make infinite amounts of money. But don't let the AI infringe on our copyright power. There's AI that's fed Pixar data and people have to avoid using those GPTs or make their own GPTs without any Disney data. Well, can I pop up Grok right now and ask for it to produce a Pixar style Goku or something? Produce an image of Goku in Pixar style. Gives us a vaguely Pixar style. I mean, I don't know. Pixar style is so bland in the first place. Produce an image of Goku in 90s Disney film animation style with CRT coloring. Well, this is what they gave me, so the answer is no. I like how if you ask for like an Asian character, like Tekken's Asuka, and if they don't have enough reference images, which Grok is pretty bad with image diffusion, they just give you like a vaguely Asian woman. Produce, and maybe it's gotten better over the past like 6 months, but I don't think it has. Film grain instead of CRT coloring. Well, film grain included, but I was thinking more in terms of like the color scheme. I don't know how to describe it. Here we go, guys. Produce an image of Asuka Kazuma from Tekken. We did it, boys. This nondescript anime girl and another nondescript anime girl. At least they kind of got the short hair right. But you can see why the large companies are so angry about this shit, because if you type in stuff like, you know, produce an image of Princess Peach smoking a blunt. Let's see if this works. See, they can do this shit perfectly, right? Which shows you how many more images it has of A, people smoking weed, and B, Princess Peach than it has of various Tekken girls. LMAO weed. I don't know, she looks pretty good with a blunt. Although that's a really thick weed wrap. It looks more like a cigar than a blunt, if you ask me. I'm not really well versed in how various marijuana wrappings look like, but it feels incorrect. If we have any professional weed smokers in chat, please notify me on whether Grok is doing a good job producing marijuana-themed imagery. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I like Dragon Ball better in its pre-Dragon Ball Z battle comic period, when they were actually going on adventures, doing adventuring things. It was more wholesome and enjoyable. Look at this image, which I think was actually drawn by Toriyama instead of being shitty Pinterest AI. Notice the existence of Best Girl, which everybody has forgotten. People are so angry about Lunch just like disappearing from the storyline because they were so hot for her. There's a very strong vocal Lunch fan base that can't forgive her absence. Also, I can never get over the fact that her name is Launch, like a rocket launch in English instead of lunch. I always thought it was lunch, like food. We also need more anime content that involves sexual harassment of women. It's okay if Master Roshi is a pervy old man because it's funny. Also, it had really nice 90s music, although I'm not sure if anybody in the American population actually has listened to the original anime. But I like the ending, the Romanchiku Ageru Yo. I started with OG Dragon Ball because I went to Japan in I think like 94 or something. I was 6, so I think it was 93. Yeah, I think yeah, because I was born in '86. Yeah, I must have been. It must have been '93, which was like the original TV airing of the early episodes of Dragon Ball. This one, fucking classic, when they were still like Bulma is the main character, but then also they don't actually have much animation going on. People who are like, anime was so better back in the 80s and 90s, forget how little shit actually moved. This is literally just one still of Bulma and then a background, and then they animated like one cycle of this rain coming down. This is also a still, except for Bulma's dress moving. Again, literally one line moving. Also looks like it's moving, but it's just Goku slowly moving vertically. This one still frame has more soul than anything produced today. True. The whole point of anime is figuring out how to make things look soulful and moving with a very low budget. Also, Toriyama art has way too much details, so if you're actually going to be faithful to the line work for these cover shit, it would be impossible to animate it. That's the only movement we've had during the entire ending. I miss this art style for Dragon Ball. Unfortunately, instead, you just get Goku powering up for 30 minutes. I like Dr. Slump era Toriyama art, and I like post Dragon Ball Sandland era Toriyama art as well. Toriyama was never really meant to be a battle manga author. He was always meant to be wholesome adventures manga. If he was allowed to actually draw what he wanted to draw. All the stuff post Dragon Ball in which he became too powerful for the editors to control is just going on wholesome journeys and having fun hijinks and stuff. And I wish we got more time with that instead of Toriyama being forced to draw an extra like 10 volumes for the Buu saga and stuff. Crazy that we had this and people think Super is even a contender. Super really feels like a mockery of a long lost friend. I mean, it's not really... I mean, that's inevitable, right? You can't be like, this author is like the most talented artist in the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, and then be like, we'll have a doujin author that can draw vaguely like him and try and think of a somewhat acceptable storyline and have it mean something. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Out of all the authors, Toriyama is kind of the hardest to copy. There's actually a lot of people who tried to copy the style of like Oda and stuff, and it looks pretty similar. Same thing for Kishimoto, like Boruto. Early Boruto actually looks quite a bit like Naruto. But Super has always looked completely different from like Dragon Ball Z, if you ask me. It's like a completely different thing. It's such a shame we didn't get to see the Sandland game released. Was the Sandland game actually that good though, unfortunately? I mean, I would like to think that Toriyama got to play his own video games and stuff, but there's been a lot of Dragon Ball games. I'm not sure Toriyama actually, I know he enjoyed playing video games, but I'm not sure he enjoyed playing video games of his own IP. He can't be honest about that stuff, right? Because it would be like shitting on all the people that are, you know, making a living off of his IP, but I'm not sure he actually played his own IP content that much. He probably does it just because he likes tanks and stuff, but we don't really hear much about Toriyama and what he thinks about stuff. He wasn't very exposed in terms of media. I guess his Kame Sennin's hands should be behind his back like this. All I know is that Sorachi Akehide, the author of Gintama, had like a Gintama. What was it? I can't remember what. It was some kind of like exhibition. I can't remember whether it was for Gintama or whether it was for Dragon Ball. And Toriyama Akira told the Gintama author that his daughter hasn't read a single volume of his own work, but she was a huge fan of Gintama and it made him incredibly fucking jealous and angry. And I was like, LOL. It do be like that sometimes. Toriyama's self-portrait of him at his desk was Soul. Have you guys seen, you're talking about the one where he's like, he has like a titty magazine and cigarettes. There's a self-portrait of Toriyama at his desk where he has a bunch of soy sauce-based senbei crackers, cigarettes, titty magazine, and cola. And he's like, I'm in heaven. And I'm just like, bro, you have nicotine and tar, which is going to kill you. You have sugar that's going to kill you. You have too much sodium that's going to kill you. The only thing here that's even slightly healthy is the titty magazine, and that's not very healthy. Besides all the overwork, it's not particularly surprising that he died young, unfortunately. Everyone is like, mangaka die young because they're overworked, and it's definitely true that they are overworked. There's no lying about that, but I mean, I think part of the reason is also because they're all like smoking and shit. The ones that actually take care of themselves live to a pretty old age. He was almost 70. This is Japan we're talking about though. Japanese people can live to like their 90s usually, if they're not like smoking and living a high stress lifestyle. Just the other day there was like a Japan related New York Times article about Japanese people still working at 100. Here, let's see if it shows up. Working past 100 in Japan, some people never quit. Average Japanese worksman. It's like, I'm 103, gotta fix this fucking bicycle. Gotta work grueling hours boiling noodles for people. This is normal right here. In Japan, you literally work till you die. It's people like this who look like this, where it's like you get the idea in your manga where you think like you're the strongest martial artist and you find some like old guy in a fucking, you know, farmhouse in the middle of a mountain and he's like, "Ah, you ain't nothing, son," and he beats your ass. Still making ramen. Now that's fucking hard work, man. You have to boil shit and carry like water and stuff. We need to stop glorifying Japan's horrifying work culture. I mean, it's not working as bicycle repairman until you die that's horrifying, though. It's being forced to, like, go drink with your superior at your stupid dead-end office job that sucks. First time catching your stream, love all your stuff. We need more people in the stream. It's slowly dying. Not slowly, quickly dying. Today we have very low people, I think. Working till you die is very much part of the problem, though. I don't think it is. Honestly. I don't want to work till I die, but if you don't have a purpose in life, something to sustain you, then you get weak. All these studies show that old people have to stay active, so maintaining your job is a good idea. Specifically, people dying from overwork. It doesn't happen that much nowadays. It was more of a peak 80s, 90s things, I feel. Back when actually overworking till you died had like benefits. Now Japanese jobs pay so well, people can't even like, they don't even feel like doing that. If you have to have a word in your language for dying from overwork, it happens too often. Meh. America used to do that shit as well. England as well during the Industrial Revolution. We just didn't have terminology for that stuff. Americans who work in Japan often say that Japanese people aren't actually working in their quote-unquote insane work culture. Apparently it's just a lot of standing around and not going home because your wife hates you. In 2 years, I will also become a cog in the machine until I die. I mean, you could always, I was gonna say you could not become a cog in the machine, but I don't know what the good a way around it is. The thing about Japan is that you can get away with not working way more than you can with America because you have government health insurance and stuff. In America, you don't get health insurance if you're unemployed, so... In Japan, basically you arrive with everyone and leave with everyone. It's like team sports. Nametten janezo, omae. See, Death Striker here posted an incorrect fact. She's saying you arrive with everyone and leave with everyone. But if you are a kohai, that means you have to arrive before everyone and wipe the desk of your manager before they get there. 後から出勤してんじゃねえぞお前。まだ学生気分なんか？ Sorry, foreigner privilege, uwu. If you want to use your foreigner privilege, you also won't have to stay for the inevitable drinking party. I don't know if you're Muslim, but that will also get you out of the drinking party. But if you are a female Shinyu Shaing, then you have to go to the drinking party, stay after work, and pour alcohol for your annoying manager. Although maybe that would be Sekuhara nowadays. Japanese OL aren't really expected to stay with the company forever, so they actually can get away with more stuff than the male employees. The male employees are truly unprotected from the power harassment of their joshi. Western managers love Japanese manager ass-licking and keep trying to import it. I'm sure they would like to have it, but the thing about American culture is that they can always... People just were like, fuck that, and they'll quit. The thing about Japanese work culture is that you're not allowed to quit, and they won't fire you either. It's like an abusive marriage. There's a famous post on 2chan about a guy who was such a bad employee. His manager got hospitalized because he was putting so much stress on the manager. Because he would like keep on fucking shit up. So the interesting thing there is that like they don't just fire him, right? They don't fire him just because he's like, you know, ordered the wrong thing 10 times in a row or some shit. Instead it becomes like the manager's responsibility to fix him. And because the guy is such a shitty employee, he can't be fixed. So instead the manager just goes crazy and goes to the hospital. New employees must arrive at work earlier than anyone else and leave later than anyone else. This is a Japanese, yes. なんだお前仕事なめてんのか新入社員は就業時間なんだろう30分前にて修行か修行 I can't fucking speak Japanese now. I'm trying to speak English and Japanese at the same time. 先について先輩の机を拭く。もう当然。そして帰るときはお先に失礼します。See, the English speakers don't understand. If you're in Japan, you have to apologize for leaving early. You have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm leaving even though it's only like 8 p.m. and work isn't done yet. And it's not even just like that in like the famous Buraku Kikyo. It's like even just normal part-time work. バイトでもお先に失礼しますって言わないといけないし。That's why it's helpful to use your gaijin card and just be like, I don't understand. You have to maximize your gaijin privilege. Do you look Japanese enough not to be identified as Hafu? No, I look very white. I have like Japanese hair, but everything else is kind of white guy thing. I'm tall, I have pale skin, I have long legs. And also I act like a spurg all the time and say things that I'm not supposed to say, which also makes me look like a foreigner. So I play the foreigner card. I may as well. As Asperger person, I can't, you know, handle Japanese work culture, so I may as well just be like, I'm foreigner, I'm going home. Also, I can't drink, so I definitely am not staying around for any kind of drinking party. That's not going to happen. I'm surprised to hear you look like that Nick Cage face. If I were to draw a self-portrait of myself, it would be kind of like this. I have these really thick Japanese dark eyebrows that kind of go down. Kind of like this. I have a long face as well. I'm old now, so I also have all this acne scars. I guess I don't have this much of a James Harden sharp yaoi chin. And then I'm fucking hunched over. I have the gamer hunch, the gunch going on. Yeah, that's basically what I look at. Asian friends think Hapa friends look white. White friends think Hapa friends look Asian. The real question is, are anime characters supposed to look white? The answer is no, they're not supposed to look white. White people just think that if a character is attractive looking, it means that they're white. I doubt you have the Jaylen Brown sprayed on hairline either. Does he have a sprayed on hairline? Is that new, or did he always have that? Hold on, I have to look it up. Jaylen Brown hairline. What the fuck? What is going on? Bros, how am I supposed to respond to this? This is the weirdest shit I've seen since the Carlos Boozer hair melting off and shoe polish coming down his forehead. He sprays the thinning areas of his head. What the fuck is this shit? It looks like a shorter, slightly different version of like... Right? It kind of looks like this. Like, same energy, you know? It's like... It looks like fucking carpet? I don't understand. Is this his hair? What percentage of this is his real hair? It looks like they took, like, a square of carpet, like... very short hair carpet, and then just fucking glued it onto his head. Well, I mean, that seals the deal. The Celtics were going to be bad this year, but this fucking, there's no way escaping it. If their best player on their team is going to have hairstyle that looks like this, they're fucking done. If Jaylen Brown can't, like, fucking shave his head Michael Jordan style, then I don't know what they're going to do. Guys, when you start going bald, just fucking shave your head. Just don't try and keep it. You just have to give it up. Save the self-portrait. I can draw a self-portrait anytime. I should look at the mirror and actually make it accurate. Man went to Berkeley. He can shave his head and do whatever he wants. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Celtics were the most fraudulent team of NBA champions in a long time. The team was fraudulent as fuck. Jason Tatum is not a real superstar. This version of Celtics will never win another championship. They are frauds. Frauds, I tell you. OKC are bums. I didn't say that OKC was going to win the championship. I'm just saying that the Celtics aren't going to win any more champions. The NBA has too much parity. I hope that Denver wins this year, to be honest. I feel like Jokic is good enough that he should have multiple championships. Jokic is way better than, like, any of the other MVP run-ups. Like, you know, Shea and stuff like that. He's significantly better, so I think he should get a few more rings. Jokic would be distraught. He just wants to go home and see his horses. God damn it, Jokic, you have to stay for the championship parade. You're not allowed to go back yet. The stupid tax apron system fucked the Celtics from repeating. Don't care. Also, they got fucked from repeating because Jason Tatum's Achilles fucking exploded or whatever. I can't remember specifically what injury he had. It's going to be really hard to repeat in the NBA with the current play styles because in order to like play a full season of playoff basketball, you basically have to destroy all your tendons and shit. So then when you try and do it the next year, all of your players get injured. Because, like, the current version of the NBA is just, like, non-stop running because people are always at the three-point line. You have to just be constantly running people off the three-point line. It's shocking if you watch, like, a video of NBA in the 90s and stuff, and you realize that those guys didn't move at all. There was so little movement in the 90s. It's all just, like, 1v1 post-ups. People are literally just standing around in the triangle. This is one of the reasons why I say LeBron is the best of all time, better than Jordan and stuff. Like, if you actually watch 90s basketball, a lot of it is just, like, fucking horrendous. It's just like, holy shit. If a modern team played against a 90s basketball team, they would absolutely torch the shit out of a 90s team just by the three-point shooting alone. See ya. Rip to the Pacers and the Halliburton, although I am still pissed. It would have been really cool if the Pacers had won, to be honest. That would have been fucking great. Just be Rodman and trip people repeatedly. Rodman is a player that would be good in the modern NBA, I'd give you that. Rodman is like the ultimate form of DEI, by the way. Rodman in a dress. People don't understand how stylish and revolutionary it was when Dennis Rodman was wearing dresses and not showing up at practice because he was using too much cocaine or whatever. The rules are soft today. Detroit Bad Boys, Rodman, etc. Yeah, but a modern team, if you took a modern team in a time machine and put them in the 90s, they would be able to, you can adjust to the rules immediately if you all you have to do is just hand check rules. You can't adjust to suddenly being able to shoot 3-pointers. That's the argument. In fact, teams do this every year during the playoffs. They go from regular season hand check rules to playoff hand checks rules, where you get to do all sorts of extra levels of tomfoolery in terms of, you know, fouling the shit out of people. It's not like you were actually allowed to get in big fights in the 90s either. Just because Bill Laimbeer was whacking the shit out of people. Like, the fact that Bill Laimbeer was considered to be like a notable player just shows you how much better you have to be in current NBA than you had to be in the 90s. Same thing for hockey, where you literally had a position called the goon, and it was just a guy whose job was to get into fights and shit. I know hockey fans will be like, ah, that was the good old days. But it was like a different time in which you basically didn't have to be the most skilled player in the fucking planet to actually play this professional sport. And now you can't get away with that shit anymore. You have to be super skilled and then also want to get into fights. Ron Artest was a psycho. Also, it's questionable if he was, in my mind, Ron Artest is still a modern player. Because in my mind, I'm still living in, like, 2004. They still have fights pretty much every hockey game. True. But they don't have, like... So that's what... I'm not saying that there aren't any goons. It's just that if you want to be a goon in hockey right now, you can't just be a goon. You also have to be able to, like, skate and shoot and stuff. The whole, like, half-assed fighting part of sports hasn't disappeared, but that can't be, like, your skill. Like, now, if you can't shoot on an NBA team, you literally won't be playing if you can't shoot to some degree. You can't goon anymore. Do not come, Kamala Harris. Pog Champion. Can I use PogChamp right now? PogChamp. How the fuck do I get PogChamp? Pog. Is this the PogChamp? It is. We don't really use all the emotes we have in this chat now, do we? I can't even remember what the PogChamp guy did to get his PogChamp removed. I don't know, the lizard doesn't seem like it's PogChamping. Well, maybe it does. I've changed my mind. It is kind of PogChamping, but I feel like the kind of, like, I don't know, the lips was important for the whole PogChamp situation. Anti-vaxxer. Let's ask AI. Why was the PogChamp emote guy changed? The PogChamp emote was changed because the face of the emote, Ryan Gutex Gutierrez, made tweets after the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot that Twitch deemed to be encouraging further violence. Well, I guess even if you stand up and support President Trump's right to send a violent mob to the Capitol and have them chant, try and kill Mike Pence, it doesn't pay off unless you got arrested and then Trump will pardon you. PogChamp guy hated the emote anyways. Do we still have Tryhard? Tryhard, we do. Thank God. I was worrying that I wouldn't be able to post a black face when I wanted to make racist comments. Trihex loves that. I once looked up Trihex's stream just to see who it was, and I found out he was a Yoshi's Island streamer. And I don't give a fuck about Yoshi's Island speedruns, so that was the only thing I know about him. I never went back. I never was that interested in Mario speedrunning. Who's the black guy for the bruh emote? I forgot what it's called. Come on, bruh. There's also one other guy who I think is a different person. There's like a fat guy, a fat black guy. Not gonna lie, bro. Why is Android 17 hot too, homie? That's because you're gay. You're thinking of Brain Slug, they changed it? Brain Slug, is it? There was like a bald, kind of fat black guy who is kind of making a disapproving face that's slightly different from bruh. Is that Brain Slug? It used to be Brain Slug. Maybe I haven't seen it in a while. You might be right about that. They're twins, so they're both hot. That's gay, my friend. Android 17 is a man. You're not supposed to lust after men. Unless you're a female. I don't know. They deface our icons. We get so many new Twitch emotes, it's hard to get angry. As long as we still have Joel. Do I even have Joel? Also, I can never remember which one. What's this? Isn't the spinning fish Joel? I don't know how to type it. I don't think I have it installed. Some of the most popular ones are from like 7TV and Better Twitch TV and shit. And I can never remember how to... Like, for 7TV, you have to go into 7TV and, like, activate a bunch of shit, don't you? I don't remember. I had a bunch of it set up back in the past, but now I don't deal with that. It's too much work. I think one of them still has the old PogChamp. I see it all the time. You know, these emotes are fine and all, but what I really miss is people posting massive ASCII art of Hydra penises and stuff. That was the true Twitch culture. How can I enjoy my Twitch experience if there isn't like a giant penis being posted in ASCII? We have to keep the culture alive, guys. Next, we'll be back to using emoticons instead of emoji. Hold on. Wait, I have my own file for this. Where was it? I don't think I can actually post this in chat and have it work. Because, yeah, I can't actually post it, unfortunately. Fine. I'll just, there we go. I still think this is a pretty effective face right there. If you're just like, GG, easy, uninstall. Uninstall now! Your account holds no meaning. Uninstall now. I was playing a MOBA, the predecessor, the Paragon Remake MOBA recently, and I finally got to ranked mode. You have to play for quite a while before they let you even play ranked mode. And then within like about 5 matches of playing ranked mode, there's a specific support in this MOBA where the support tethers you and they can fling you forward and backward, and the support is supposed to, you know, yank you out of dangerous situations and actually help you. And within like 5 matches of ranked mode, I got a support who was playing this support, and me playing a ranged carry was trying to shoot the enemies from, you know, the correct distance, and he kept on yanking me into close range against enemies and getting me killed. And he was like, come on bro, let's get into the fight. And I was just like, you know what, you win, I'm uninstalling. I don't have time for this shit. I need to be doing other stuff with my life instead of getting angry at my own teammates sabotaging me trying to play the video game. So yeah, guys, don't play MOBAs. There's a lot of things that are a waste of your time, but few things are a bigger waste of your time than trying to get good at a video game like a MOBA, which is entirely reliant on people on the internet cooperating with each other. That's a horrible way to spend your time, guys. Just don't do it. Paragon is still alive, LOL. Paragon is not alive. It was ended by Epic because they were making too much money by from Fortnite. It was canceled right around the time that Fortnite started to blow up, and Epic was like, oh shit, we have to ride this wave, we're gonna make so much fucking money. So they ended Paragon, and then they, say what you want about Epic, they were nice enough to actually keep the assets in a usable condition. So a few years later, people took the assets and they recreated the game in the form of predecessor. And Paragon was my one and only MOBA that I wanted to play, so I tried to give it a try again. But yeah, you should not be spending your time playing MOBAs. You really shouldn't. I think BB playing a MOBA is more surprising. I'm willing to try and cooperate online if other people are willing to try and cooperate, however they are not, so. No, it's just too much like prediction of other people's actions to be fun, if you ask me. Because not only do you have to predict what your enemies are going to do, but you also have to predict what like your teammates are going to do. And half the time your teammates are going to do really stupid shit. So like half of the game is like, is my teammate gonna act like a absolute fucking retard? And the answer is usually yes. So you have to be like constantly wondering, what should I do if my teammate behaves like a retard, you know? I don't know, it's not really a fun mentality to be in for like 40 minutes at a time. League was super fun when I was growing up, but I pretty much exclusively played with friends. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. If you have friends that are actually interested in doing teamwork shit, then it's fun. If not, then it's not going to be fun. It's in fact going to be very frustrating and painful. I gave Android 18 a slight extra hair, but even that might feel a little too much for me. How much of the Toriyama style extra skull do I want to give her? That is the question. Are you watching the new Kamen Rider anime with the huge tits? What's it called? Kamen Rider Double Boing. Kamen Rider anime. Huh. The boobs are big, I'll give you that. This bitch is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. She's not just thick in the boobs, just she's generally kind of thick. Fat. Actually fat. Speaking of that, anybody find a good PayPal alternative yet? There is a specific PayPal alternative that I'll have to switch to in Japan because you literally can't use PayPal in Japan to pay me, so I forgot what it was called. But yes, there are PayPal alternatives. I don't know. There's probably different things for different uses. I use Stripe to be transferring money overseas between Solus Astorius and me when he gets his YouTube revenue. Hold on, I forgot what it was called. PayPal alternatives for Japan. Oh, Payoneer is what is recommended for Japan. Which is weird because not safe for work pays well. Well, I don't know. We've allowed these anti-sex prudes to have control over various things in the world for too long, unfortunately. And this is no different. I've never even heard of Payoneer. Yeah. But if you're willing to pay me $1,000 just to get a slot for a commission, I think you can be okay to sign up for a different payment service. Because you literally can't use PayPal in Japan, which is kind of based for them. I always enjoy how Japan is like its entirely different Galapagos economy, as is often it's called. I've heard of Payoneer, but it doesn't seem like Western people know of it. Unfortunately with these things is that once there's one system set up, everybody just defaults to that, which is why I've been using PayPal as well, but now is a good time as any for you people to set up Payoneer if you want to actually commission me at some point, so... I'm glad that Japan seems to be creating policies to safeguard their content, at least for now. Just nice to know that this lives on somewhere in the world. Just because stupid tech companies are going to try and prevent Japanese from being perverts, it's not going to work. Japan has allowed the largest black market IP destroying Comiket for, you know, years and years and years at this point. Japan was drawing tentacle hentai in the 1600s. We're definitely not going to stop drawing or being horny anytime soon. I'm confused by what you mean by the Japanese can't use PayPal. One of the dudes who regularly commissions me is Japanese and lives in Japan. They can't use PayPal if you're a Japanese artist and you want to get paid using PayPal. What happens is, I think you can put money into PayPal, but you can't withdraw it. I can't specifically remember what I read, but I think that's what it was. So I think you can use it for sending money outward, but not inward. So if I wanted you guys to pay me in PayPal and I was in Japan, I wouldn't be able to withdraw the money into my Japanese bank account, so it would just be sitting there. Yeah, I think that's how it works. So it might be more on the Japanese banking system side than the PayPal side, which would be very Japanese banking system-like. They're often like that way. Which is why Japan has all these other things like PayPay and stuff like that. This is a really good navel here, I think. I think I did a good job with the navel, but I want it to be a little bit darker. Is there a world where you start doing Comiket, LOL? Maybe. I'm going to start by going after Japanese publishing companies, but I think that I can also do Comiket and stuff. I don't want to have to sell in person, though. I don't know, man. You have to apply to Comiket, you know. You can't just go. You have to apply, and then you have to get, like, accepted, so... It's not that simple. I guess they have to keep the people who are shitty out. I don't know how they decide who gets in and who doesn't, but it makes sense that you have to apply and get accepted, because... You know, there's so many more people at this point. It's such a huge event. can make the tank top lower. I really like tank tops, guys. I noticed this recently. I'm a real tank top guy. I think it comes from growing up in the 2000s when every one of my classmates was always wearing a tank top. Already happened on Steam. Women's clothes behinds are apparently not allowed to be shown. In the future, Japan will be like the last free city in a dystopian dictator-controlled world. They'll be like the free cities of Japan. The only place where the Coomers can go to see a small amount of nipple. Have you seen Invisigal Sleepwear? I'm not interested in Dispatch. When I heard that it was somehow written by Critical Role or something, I was incredibly out. I fucking hate Critical Role. I could go on for 30 minutes about how much I fucking despise Critical Role in all its formats. I just fucking hate those people. I think they suck. I think everything they touch turns to shit. I had the horrible experience of watching 10 minutes of whatever their Amazon Prime TV show was. And I want those 10 minutes of my life back. I don't understand how people are entertained by that stuff, but of course, I mean, Western nerds have horrible fucking taste, so... In general, I don't enjoy listening to like D&D podcasts and stuff, despite trying to find one I like many times, because I don't like listening to people having fun without me. Just the experience of like 5 or 6 people all guffawing and saying their inside jokes. I don't really find that very entertaining. But Critical Role is like a whole different level of me just like not liking those people. And then after I watched the Amazon Prime TV show that I assumed that they were somehow related to some degree, I was just like, I don't ever want to spend time with these people again. There's a core problem in which if your D&D party has like more than 4 people, it's pretty bad for a podcast. This goes beyond Critical Role, but it's very hard to maintain multiple storylines with like 6 people and have them being talking at like different timings and shit. If you want to do a D&D podcast, it should be like 3 or 4 people at most. Maybe even 2 if you're going to go on a lower side. You don't want to have 5 or 6. It might be fine for you like playing as a table experience, but even that I feel like is too many. I feel like the upper party limit should really be 4. They are theater kid adjacent and I despise theater kids. Yeah, I don't have enough experience with theater kids to know if that's why I don't like them. All I can say is that I don't like them. Maybe I would like them more if Chad Thundercock showed up and beat them up and threw them in a locker. But unfortunately, Chad Thundercock is currently nowhere in sight. He's probably out working in the oil fields or something. I don't think we've ever seen Android 18's abdomen, have we? I'm making an interpretation here. She's pretty heavily clothed the entire time. Don't you want to watch the cartoon show starring the Critical Role actors, The Legend of Vox Machina? That's what I'm saying when I say Amazon show. I fucking hated that. Holy shit, it was so bad. It was so unfunny. It was so unentertaining. The timing of everything was awful, and I only watched like 10 minutes. I fucking hate modern fantasy. That's another thing. Which is, you know, kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, considering, like, I've made a lot of my money off of, like, spoofing fantasy, and I am part of the modern fantasy, but, like, I fucking hate Western interpretations of modern fantasy where everything is just, like, a silly joke. Everything is just, like, narwhal bacon, epic spork. And, like, that's the entire fucking show, D&D themed. Also, I'm a special, super unique race where I'm half genie, half water elemental, half vampire. All that shit. I fucking hate it. I also dislike Tolkien, but it really makes me want to go back to the era of classic fantasy and Tolkien taking his stuff way too seriously. The problem is that you need to kind of have a balance between, like, people who take fantasy seriously, and then you can have, like, 4 or 5 people who take fantasy as a joke and spoof all the serious fantasy. And that balance is way out of whack right now with both isekai and, like, modern interpretations of fantasy. And I'm part of the problem, actually. But you can't have everybody want to be, like, reinterpreting fantasy and making it epic spork narwhal bacon shit. You have to have, like, 8 people being super serious about their fantasy world, and then you can have one epic spork narwhal bacon story, and that's about it. If everybody thinks that they're making a funny parody version of fantasy, then it just turns to shit. I don't really treat isekai and all the random joke anime as fantasy, to be honest. I just treat them as its own thing. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Some of my favorite stuff that I've read or experienced in the last, like, 10 years and stuff has been isekai, but it's few and far between. The epic sport bacon stuff is you're referring to is called Quirk Chungus, and it's notoriously the worst thing millennials ever inflicted on media. I thought we called it narwhal bacon before we called it epic chungus. Wasn't there, like, a Reddit period in which all the Redditors were like, excuse me, holds up spork, epic bacon, rainbow unicorn, and everyone was like, ha ha ha. We're so fucking quirky, LMAO. I feel like this was already prominent in, I don't know, 2010, 2012 maybe. And then it only got worse from there. It's been a while. I'm also part of the problem regarding this as well, considering, you know, I'm a fucking Twitter artist who's drawing silly parodies of, you know, various pre-existing serious content as well, but I at least try to, I don't know, be a little more creative, hopefully. There was a time people said Happy Zombie Jesus Day instead of Happy Easter. Yeah, I know what type of people these are. They're the type of people that are white women who still like Harry Potter and stuff. I don't know. At the local Kroger where I do shopping, I often see this SUV parked, and on the SUV there's a bumper sticker that says, I'm a wizard girl in a muggle world or something. And every time I see that fucking SUV with the woman claiming that she's a wizard, I just want to fucking key the shit out of that. Because goddammit, bitch, you are a muggle. We're all muggles. That's what it means to be an adult. You can't fucking use magic. You're a fucking muggle. We're all muggles. We're not special. You're not allowed to think that you're special when you're 40. We all have to deal with our muggleness. That's what it means growing up. I don't really have an issue with things being unserious or jokey or even subversive, but it just has to be, I don't know, not insufferable. Here, for those of you who haven't fucking seen and don't know what we're talking about, you'll understand within like 5 seconds of watching the fucking trailer. Legend of Vox Machina trailer.
Evil rises.
See, we already have Evil Rises, but in a very kind of like an Ancient Evil Awakens, you know, we're not being serious kind of way.
Our only hope lies in these brave warriors.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Too many. Ah, he got crushed. Haha, silly. They're all dead now.
Right. Who else have we got?
Oh, look, he's burping, guys. Epic Spork.
I'm sorry, who the hell are you?
Vox Machina! We shit up.
We fuck shit up, guys.
Come on, work!
You can't be seriously considering them for such a task.
Our reputation is less than stellar.
If killing for gold isn't getting us anywhere, maybe we try doing some good this time?
No.
If this evil persists, the kingdom will starve to death.
I'm going to watch this show now. Go ahead. I won't stop you. You combine this with the fact that I hate English voice acting. I hate English anime where they want to be anime but they can't actually be anime. But the biggest problem is, you can't actually tell this from the trailer, but the biggest problem is the thing that I already said, in that there's too many party members, so there's no real main character, and they all have to give each party member the same amount of screen time, which makes it gives it this really awkward like pacing of everything. Because it's like, this person will have to talk, and then the next person will have to talk, and then the next person will have to talk. And you kind of have to keep track of how much screen time each character gets at all times, or at least, I guess, the director decided that they would have to do it this way. There's like just no narrative flow to the entire thing because it's set up that way. It's really, really bad. It's truly awful. And I've only seen like 10 minutes. The Marvel movie crap. He's right behind me now, isn't he? Korra, DMC anime, Dragon Age anime, Laracraft anime. I assume you're talking about the studio that does that anime style. I don't know, I haven't seen the Lara Croft anime and stuff like that, but I think they're all being made by the same like Korean anime studio that did like Voltron anime and stuff like that, where it's like how a Western anime fan who hasn't actually watched much anime besides Sailor Moon or whatever thinks anime is, and then they want their Western nerd media to be in an anime style, so then they commission this Korean anime studio to make it in that style, and that's what you get, is kind of my impression of it. It's a studio based out of Austin called Powerhouse. Why am I thinking that it's Korean then? I thought there was like, I thought I read something about the Voltron anime that had that style, that like they had a lot of like Korean studios and stuff like that, but maybe I'm just like misremembering. I saw potential and then they slapped their fat dick of Marvel movie jokes on the table. Do you not appreciate it when the purple shaped big hand showed up with its middle finger raised? Actually, the trailer doesn't do justice to how bad everything is, because if you watch the show, the timing of everything is kind of off. Like, comedy is all timing, right? And the timing is like, it's not very crisp. It's way more crisp in the trailer. So no matter how turned off you are by it, it's actually worse if you actually watch the actual show. It's very, very painful. A lot of additional frames are outsourced to Korea, as they have to be, if you want to ever make a profit. Marvel movies at least tend to avoid the vulgar part. I know people are fucking sick of Marvel, but I enjoyed Marvel for what it was for quite a while before, you know, the current version of it. Because Marvel had actual actors, you know? Robert Downey Jr. is an actual actor. The Legend of Vox Machina crew is not actual actors. They are voice actors. And the voice acting industry in America is a fucking joke. And I don't know how it can continue to exist like it, based on its like weird-ass nepotism. Whatever is going on with the voice acting industry in America, I'm glad I don't have to associate myself with it, because nowadays all video games and anime, you can watch it in like sub mode, so I don't ever have to listen to these fucking American voices. I got what I needed from Marvel: Iron Man 3, Thor Ragnarok, and Black Panther. It's interesting how some people complain about specific movies like Iron Man 3. I've seen a lot of people say that Iron Man 3 is really bad. And I'm just like, how is it different from any of all these other Marvel movies? For me, the entire MCU up until Phase 4 was all like B+ movies. And that's really impressive if you ask me. Just being able to maintain a B+ is just, it's very difficult. But that doesn't mean they're good. They're good enough, is how I would put it. Everything is good enough. I think the best way to describe people getting sick of Marvel is that one movie podcast that I listened to, the guy was like a huge fan, and he was like, if I told my 10-year-old self that everything you wanted in terms of media right now in 1992 was going to come true, except you were going to hate it, then I wouldn't understand what I would be saying to my old self. Like, it wouldn't make sense. But yeah, that is sort of what happened, right? Like, every 90s kid's nerd fantasies that had been ignored for so long, it got all fulfilled in its most perfect format. And yet, for some reason, at this point, we no longer are happy. It's this weird monkey's paw situation. Western media felt good in the 2010s. I feel like Western media kind of peaked around the first Avengers movie before it got saturated. I know we're all sick of Marvel and Avengers and shit like that, but like up until that point, no one had even tried to be like, we're gonna have a bunch of other superhero movies and then they're actually gonna fucking team up in one big movie. And when that actually came true, I was like, holy shit, they fucking did it. That's insane. They were actually able to pull it off. Why has no one ever been able to do this before? But unfortunately after that it kind of goes downhill, so, you know, it do be like that. All I want is a new season of Mindhunter, goddammit. Wasn't, what's his name? Was it Finch? Was it David Finch? No, that's a comics artist. What was the director's name? Oh, David Fincher, not David Finch. Isn't David Fincher like putting his actors in like stress boxes so they're properly freaked out? I feel like we're not getting Mindhunter Season 3 or whatever because like he's gonna have to torture all of the actors so they can reach peak performance. And the actors are like, I don't want to be tortured anymore. I heard that like he retakes scenes for like 30 hours straight until the actor's just losing their mind. And then he's like, okay, that's good enough now. That's so true. Even in gaming now, everything is a remake. Just make good shit, damn it, LOL. What's the newest... What's a new IP? Not even an IP, just something new that somebody came out with recently. I guess Sinners is probably the best thing. I haven't seen Sinners yet, but I probably will at some point. I'm pretty sure the real reason the show is discontinued because it was insanely expensive. I mean, we're past the expansion phase for Netflix. So if you want like movie quality TV shows, you're not going to get them anymore. You're just getting like the Great Baking Challenge number 5 or whatever. The truth is, the Great British Baking Challenge funded by Netflix costs like 1/50th of what it costs to make a single episode of Mindhunter, and it probably gets like 10 times more views. So you being like, no, I want photorealistic recreations of the FBI going after serial killers, it's not gonna happen, boys. The studio that coined Quadruple A ended up shutting down after releasing Callisto Protocol, I think. I think you're mixing up two different things. Wasn't Quadruple A the Ubisoft pirate game, which was a worse version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag because you couldn't get off your ship? Here we go. Ubisoft Skull and Bones, the world's first quadruple A game or an overpriced flop. I think we know which one it was. An alleged cost of roughly 200 million, except it got remade like 30 times. So it's probably like at least double or triple that amount. It spanned 11 years. And you can't even get off your fucking ship. You just sail around in the ocean. It has less functionality than Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which came out like 15 years before it. It's insane. How does it end up like that? I don't know. It's supposed to symbolize the screams of the investors. I don't think the investors are actually understand what they're going on. They just see like the total numbers. Investors are not smart people, guys. That's kind of the big problem. They have no idea how the actual industry they're investing in works. Imagine if the people who were putting all this stupid amount of money in video games actually played video games. We'd have a different landscape. Sadly, it's not like that. $200 million is about the cost of a 1P PlayStation game, inclusive of marketing and development. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it cost way more than $200 million. I think that's what Ubisoft announced. But it was like 11 plus years, and they shuttered multiple development studios and stuff in the process of making Skull and Bones, so... I'm pretty sure it cost like 600 to 800 million or some crazy fucking number. Also, they never include marketing and stuff. If something is a failure in any kind of industry, they're gonna try and minimize what they claim to the budget to be, and I'm sure they're doing that in that case as well. That's why manga is so great. No matter how much of a flop the thing is, as long as you don't spend too much money on marketing it, like, you never actually lose money on the publisher side. Which is why they can be constantly, like, churning out unsafe shit. Like, Shonen Jump can have, like, a new series every 3 or 4 months and hope it is successful. But if it's not successful, you just cut it. And that's it, you know? You didn't really lose anything. And if it is successful, you have a fucking billion-dollar IP. There's just no fat in the whole manga creation process. It's just like one guy and like 3 assistants at most. The only production process that's more lean than manga production is like writing a novel. But it's hard to sell plushies out of a novel, so... Anime movies are pretty cheap, right? Comparatively? Depends on how much budget you put in. Anime can be expensive if you want to make it expensive. Manga is never that expensive. It's always just like one guy, so... The Chainsaw Man movie was 4 million, Infinity Castle was 20 million. No, you have to use $200 million to make a massive flop. You're not allowed to have a massive IP that all the teenagers enjoy and watch. Can't go wrong with black and white drawings on simple paper. We can make the manga making process even cheaper by, instead of using paper and ink, I'll just shit and bleed on the sidewalk. I'll just use my own feces and draw on a concrete wall after civilization is collapsed. That's how I will create my art. Angel in stockings in the full screen was hot as fuck, not gonna lie. Are you talking about the male Angel? Are you being gay again? I haven't seen the Reze movie. Also, I don't like Chainsaw Man that much, I'm gonna be honest. I'm reading Chainsaw Man Part 2 on a weekly basis because, you know, it's in my feed, but... It's, it just bugs me because so much of it is like combat and rule based, except the combat and rules they don't like make any sense and they can change frequently. So as a result, there's just like no stakes. You can just do like, anything can fucking happen. Nobody is ever dead, even if they get their heads ripped off. I don't know, man. I'm just a big fan of like consequences. I want there to be consequences when somebody gets torn in half. I don't want them... Like, you can have, like, one regenerator character, I guess. But literally everybody in Chainsaw Man, there's, like, no real permanent death. It's interesting enough, certainly compared to anything else on cinema right now. I have high standards for my manga. I don't care about Chainsaw Man plot, but the animation is incredible. I also don't really care about good animation very much often as well. There's only 1 or 2 scenes in which I was like, damn, that's good animation. I'm curious about the animation on a big screen, never seen an anime movie. A lot of people were like that back in the day. I remember when Princess Mononoke was brought to theaters in the 90s, and I went to saw it in the theaters in the 90s, and some parent had brought their like 4-year-old to Princess Mononoke, and Ashitaka like slices a guy's arm off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And she was like, okay, we're leaving now. And I was like, LMAO, look at the fucking Western parents still being like, anime is for children. Pretty funny shit, honestly. They never learn, do they? We had like a solid 15-year period from like 1990 and like 2005 where every single Blockbuster or every single independent movie rental place had to have like these massive fucking stickers on their hentai anime cardboard boxes of La Blue Girl, where there's like just like a straight up picture of a girl getting tentacle raped, and then they would have to put like this extra warning that this is like absolutely not for kids. And I always was like, you think? What tipped you off, guys? Was it this image of like a schoolgirl getting her clothes ripped off and getting raped by tentacles? Is that what told you that it wasn't for kids? But you know, American parents literally just be like, I see image, I see picture. This is appropriate for my 5-year-old. It was pretty funny. This went on for like the entirety of my childhood. It was also especially funny because Japan was going through a period in which like their anime was especially violent and sexual back then. So like the combo of like the anime being like super violent and sexual and getting ported to the Western markets for the first time, and Western parents having like zero idea what the fuck was going on was hilarious. Princess Mononoke was PG-13 for violence. I remember getting a mini talk before going to see it. That's interesting. I guess there are other PG-13 films in which there's like dismemberment and stuff like that. I guess that's not that weird. I prefer Demon Slayer because it was less heavy on the 3D. I want to watch Demon Slayer, but in the like the black theaters in which everyone's being like, yo! In which the guy was pissing on some kid and then he got in a huge fist fight. Have they taken it down? Damn, I think they've taken it down. Maybe this guy still has the replay of it.
But now people are pulling out their things.
Yeah, here we go.
Shall we get into the video? And it is bizarre to say the least. Yeah, let's just get into it, y'all.
Keep on going, dude. Show the full fight.
Imagine getting your ass beat in some kind of anime epic, like...
So this was like... Goodbye, Jalen Brown. Where the fuck is the music? This was like, I guess it was an Arizona movie theater, but it was definitely like some black guy, and I think the guy who was beating his ass was also a black guy, but some black guy started pissing in the movie theater and like pissed on a kid, and then the kid's father started beating his ass, and then everyone pulled out their cell phone, so we got to watch it on TikTok. I yelled at someone in the middle of my screening of Demon Slayer because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. Some of these fans are on some shit. There's like, I think it's supposed to be this way, but I've seen clips of like, I guess Scream Along of Demon Slayers, like the Minecraft movie. I don't know if they still have that shit. But, yeah, I've just seen, like, entire videos of just people yelling nonstop the entire time. Here's an appropriate one. Oh my god, she's naked! Let's go! I'm seeing boobs! Ah! Ah! Pretty funny. I think they just like... I think that's how movie theaters are going to go going forward, actually. This has 12 million views, by the way. From 2 years ago, by the way. This guy keeps on showing up in all my AI NTR porn of Demon Slayer, I've also noticed. People really want them to be a couple because he ate her. Spoilers, by the way. Modern day Americans going to see a foreign movie and finally get to see some female nudity, just like North Koreans who left the country and finally got access to internet porn. It do be like that. I haven't seen female exposing boobs in years now. Not sure how popular the anime movies are here. Seems like more boomers tend to go to the cinema here and just go for that Predator Badlands slot. So what's happening now going forward is that the only time that you're going to be able to get people's asses in seats is if you make the movie like some kind of event. So that means like convincing Zoomers that Minecraft is a thing and getting them to go to see the same Minecraft movie 10 times and allowing them to yell chicken jockey and throwing their popcorn and like basically turning it into a party. So if you want to watch your movies in silence, I'm afraid that you're not going to be allowed to watch them in the movie theater going forward. It's just not going to work. Female Muzan was shockingly hot. It wasn't just Michael Jackson in drag. I knew about female Muzan before I knew the plot of Demon Slayer because I checked the doujins first. And female Muzan was actually the first character that had like a shit ton of doujins to show up of her, I would say. People really, really wanted to fuck female Muzan. And at least among the Japanese internet doujin artists. I knew about female Muzan before I knew of any of the other female characters, honestly. This might be too much. Proof that Demon Slayer is written by a woman. I think the number one thing that shows me that it's written by a woman is like how the men interact with each other. There's lots of female authors who don't mind showing lots of female nudity and booba and stuff like that. But the male interactions, when they're written by a woman, I can always kind of feel it. There's just this kind of like yaoi adjacentness to the way guys interact with each other when it's a female author that I feel like that doesn't happen with male authors. I don't know how to explain it, but men don't really react or like talk to each other the way that female authors imagine them to. But I would have a hard time explaining specifically what like the triggers are that makes me be like, this is definitely a female author writing this male relationship. Obviously, you have the very easy to understand telltale signs where it's just like, this is just Fujoshi stuff, where like guys are like touching each other in ways or standing too close or like holding each other's hands and shit like that, whatever. But like, there's another level of that where it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, there's like a kind of cuteness to the interaction. I'm not sure. There's something off, right? It's basically the male version of the Bechdel test or whatever, where you can tell that it's a female author, where it's like in the 90s it was women that aren't talking about a man and not talking to a man or not talking about a man. Whatever. It's like the female author version of that. But it's hard to explain what makes some things feel like female author and what things don't, because I wouldn't be able to put my finger on it. It's the emotional intimacy that develops too quickly. I think there's a lot of like gyagu and tsukomi, if you know what I'm talking about. The Japanese gyagu and tsukomi that goes on. Like the timing is slightly different. I think this is one of the reasons why Gintama is so popular among female readers among the manga, is that the gyagu and tsukomi timing is it's appealing to women in a way that is slightly different from the average male relationship. It's hard to explain. But the way in Demon Slayer, the way that Inosuke and Tanjiro and what's his name, yellow guy, interact is my number one thing. Like, this is definitely a female author kind of feeling to it. I do think its men are more somber in their relations with each other. Just a lot of male intimacy is just non-verbal. We maintain our distances to each other's problems, like you said, until the guy is about to kill himself, and then we're like, don't worry, bro, I got you. We don't talk about our feelings. That one chick with the scar in Gintama still got me feeling things for real, for real. It's funny because she got shipped with Gin-san a lot, and then all the Fujoshi fucking hate her for that, because they're like, stupid bitch female coming into my, Fujoshi fantasy. I fucking hate her. So it's interesting that the men who read it feel the same way about her, which is probably why all the women were so hostile toward her. Women can understand when they have good competition. They correctly identified her as a threat to the affections of their favorite male characters. As men, we can only have friendship if we're in the middle of a battlefield or something. I don't know. Or if we're sucking each other's dicks. One or the other. Oh, the hair shape is really hard. I guess this is fine. I don't know. You wouldn't understand, Death Striker. You don't have a penis to suck. You can't have male friendship. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. See you around, boys. Have a nice night. I actually made a small amount of progress here. Have a nice night, boys. I will continue grinding. Good night.